A special kind of evil number two. Okay, people, I am James Dunn. I'm back. If you looked at a special kind of evil one, this is a continuation. This is about what Reverend Armand W. Brown and Paula Brown do to the children at A.W. Brown Fellowship Charter School. I want to address what they do or did to the taxpayers that to tell them they were an exemplary school for so many years. You see, this charter school was started in the fall of 1998. By the 2001-2002 school year, this school was rated exemplary by the state of Texas for its performance on state tests. Since its inception, Reverend and Mrs. Brown had tried to get me to come teach at the school. I refused because I was making much more money at a company called ADN Communications, where I won trophies for being top sales. I had also an unneeded night job working for Thousand Trails Camping, where I also won trophies once again for top sales. I always preferred commission jobs to salary jobs because commission jobs allowed me to make more money and to live in the 75229 zip code, which is Dallas's wealthiest zip code. Now, in 2002, with my father's dementia getting worse by the day, I relented and took a job at A.W. Brown as a language arts instructor. I hold a lifetime teaching certificate, and my skills were such that when I left Skyline in 1992, a 13-page feature article was written about me, by me, for the Dallas Observer. And that article appeared in October of 1993 in the Dallas Observer. Okay, and what the article was about was published about the who's who of people who wanted their children in my classes and more. The article appeared, of course, in the Observer right after the Best of Dallas issue. After working at A.W. Brown, I noticed that many of the students who had been recognized by the state for their excellence in reading the prior year, in fact, could not read at all. The school had systematically cheated on this test, thus cheating these children out of their educations. Now, most of these children were African American children. Appalled, over a 2-day period, I recorded the children telling me how they had been led to cheat on this state test. If you go to AWB CHT1, AWB CHT2, and AWB CHT3 on YouTube, you can hear these tapes. That's AWB CHT. Now, when my co-teacher, Mr. Jeremy Bratcher, heard that I was making the tapes, he told Paula Dunn Brown. That's when Mrs. Brown and I clashed. I told her that the most important year for reading was 4th grade. Cheating on the students and giving them grades is going to make them part of the parasitic society that became part of the United States with LBJ's Great Society and Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal. Remember, people started being given things and they stopped working for things. I'm a person who learned to work. My dad put me on the yards when I was 9 years old. I worked at McDonald's and mowed yards in college. When I worked for John Eagle dealerships, they told me to be honest and work hard. As a matter of fact, John Eagle said that if you lie on the dealership lot, you're fired. Any person who lied to a customer was fired. Eagle never lied to us, so he said never lie to a customer at all. Out of all of those years, Eagle has been in business over 50 years. The automobile manufacturers beg him to take their franchises. When I worked there, he had only 2. Now he has 10, and he's turning down franchises instead of seeking them because of integrity, people. He gave me integrity. And let me tell you something about excellence. I had a professor named F. Lee Taylor that came into class one night in college, and he said members of certain ethnic groups wouldn't be able to pass his sociological theory course. There were 4 black people in there at that night. The next night when we met, there was only 1 black person left, me, out of 40 people in the room. I made an A in that course. At the end of the course, F. Lee Taylor asked me to study with him to get a master's degree. It was very, very difficult to make that A, but hard work and excellence will get you everywhere. When I worked for Mark Hatcher with selling insurance, the people in the office told me that they had failed the insurance test 3, 4, and 5 times. I studied really hard. I passed that test on the first time. I was the only black person in the office, people. So I believe that if we teach our children well, they won't need a handout. They won't have to ask for certain things just because they're black. I was worried about how long black people would need affirmative action, or worried about why black people would even want affirmative action. In 2002, we were 34 years removed from Martin Luther King's death, and 38 years removed from the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Wasn't it time we actually taught these children so that they could stand on their own feet and not depend on minority set-asides and affirmative action? I caught holy hell for my beliefs, but I'll tell you this. Some of those children who had been commended by the state, I had tested for special ed, and the very next year, they were placed in special education classes so that they could get better and work on their own. Because those children couldn't read. People, this was cheating the children. And this was ongoing through ongoing, but through my actions and a man in Attorney General Greg Abbott's office, it has ceased. And now this school, since it can't cheat on the test anymore, has fallen from the top 20% in North Texas to the bottom 15%. And Children at Risk listed it in 2013 at number 896 out of 1,047 schools in the North Texas region. And 2014, they didn't list it at all. Because of this investigation, it's facing closure. I'll come back to that later. But now I'm going to tell you how they cheat the taxpayers. Since its inception in 1998, the A.W. Brown Fellowship Charter Schools collected approximately $150 million from taxpayers. That money blows the John Wiley Price case straight out of the water. Now, you as a taxpayer must pay property taxes to support public schools. You've been cheated. These children have been cheated for years. You deserve answers. You should be a steward of your money, a good steward. This school is set to receive $20 million of your money starting on April 11th, 2014. Who am I? I'm James Dunn, and the reason why I take education so seriously is because in 1964-65 school year, the classes at Gabe P. Allen were integrated. That's Gabe P. Allen Elementary School in Dallas, in West Dallas. That was a very unpleasant year for me. I was in the 2nd grade. I was called nigger, nigger, nigger over and over again. After that, we all got along. The next years were fine until my academic career got worse when I got to middle school. When at age 12, at the Thomas Edison Middle School, I was raped by 2 little boys at the school in the 7th grade. I overcame that. The next year, I was placed in an honors class, wrote a play, and became a star. In the 9th grade, I was president of the student council. By 10th grade, I was the only student council officer who was not a senior in high school. I skipped 11th grade and was vice president of the student council as a senior. I was also in the National Honor Society, the drama club president. I was in the marching band, concert band, and jazz band. I graduated with multiple scholarships, and I went to the University of Texas at Austin on a 4-year scholarship. But all was not well. In 1974, 8 L.G. Pinkston High School students had been sent to UT on scholarships. None graduated. We had not been given the background in high school to succeed in UT. I lasted the longest until 1980. I transferred to UT Arlington, where I eventually graduated in 84 with degrees in sociology and English. I also received a teaching certificate. I'm the only one of the Pinkston graduates to have a college degree today because I learned you have to work hard, not be given things. I decided that all of my students would be equipped and ready for college when I taught high school at David W. Carter in 85, 86, and Skyline High in 86 through 92. That's why I was so well regarded as a teacher. Every Saturday and Sunday, I met with my students from 1 o'clock to 5 p.m. at the downtown Dallas main library. That's not part of your teaching contract. That's part of working to better society. Not only did I work hard in school, I worked hard for the community. In February 1987, along with my students, I led the city of Dallas in trying to get Texas Stadium renamed Tom Landry Stadium. Here is where we appeared in the Dallas Times-Herald. On the front page, should Texas Stadium be renamed Tom Landry Stadium? And you can see my name in there as organizer of that petition, James Dunn. And my good friend, John Eagle, allowed us to use his dealership to collect petitions. And so that was a really good thing for the students in teaching them the power of the written word. In 1992, I led the nation in trying to get a parent's per child tax deduction tied to that parent visiting their teachers at that child's school at least once. John Wiley Price called this, sounds like something a white person would come up with. But I thought that a parent should visit the student's school. In 2004, I led my neighborhood homeowners in trying to get the city council to keep this builder from building homes that were architecturally incompatible to ours in Keithwood, Kimball Square, and Kimball Estates of West Oak Cliff. Now, my proudest achievement came when then Mayor Laura Miller decided to take the Dallas police leave down from 12 months to 6 months. I spoke in opposition at city council meeting and paid $1,700 to have a website built opposing the measure. The website was built by A.W. Brown, Internet Technology Director Benjamin Solomon. I had flyers printed, and I picked up homeless people from the shelters downtown to help me distribute the flyers to homes throughout Preston Hollow and Dallas. Each homeless, I pick up 8 every Saturday. They charge me $50 a piece. I did this for a month, and I would spend about $6,700 because I believe in Dallas police. The shortened sick leave never passed the city council. It cost me a ton of money, but the city of Dallas won. You see, I believe in the police. See, I would just never could sit back and be uninvolved. I became a Democrat state delegate to the state convention in 1980, again in 84, in 88, and 92. I even served as Lord Doggett's chauffeur when he came to Dallas. But in 1996, I was the only black delegate in the United States for Pat Buchanan because he said he would not sign NAFTA because the NAFTA law, I felt, would eliminate too many factories and too much work. And I was right. Now, since I can only do 15 minutes at a time, please go to A Certain Kind of Evil 3, and you're going to get another big shock about this school and the people who run it. I'm going to tell you, this shock is bigger than anything I've told you so far.